Today on Ag Etc., I visit with Tallgrass Hemp and Cannabis owner Sarah Stevens over her hemp production business. Learn about the research going on with hemp right here in central Kansas. Then I visit with this week's Young Leader in Ag. Finally, I visit with Casey Barton, owner of Bluestem Embryo Transfer facility in Salina, and Vytelle CEO Kerryann Koche about their collaboration on embryo transfer technology in cattle. Learn about new advances with ET and IVF technology and the unique pricing structure that goes along with it. It's all coming up on Ag Etc. Stay tuned.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com. ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need, from prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
I'm Bob SCHWARZ, and I've devoted the last 43 years to helping Kansans reach their retirement goals and to protect the family farm. At Bob SCHWARZ Financial, we believe everyone should be able to live the retirement they've always dreamed of. Our team of professionals can help you create an efficient strategy using a variety of investment vehicles to help you address your financial needs and your concerns. Bob SCHWARZ Financial values commitment and transparency.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Growing marijuana in Kansas. Many have high hopes, yes, pun intended, to someday legalize this plant. Sarah Stevens, owner of Tallgrass Hemp and Cannabis in Wichita, gives us insight to her business and this much-discussed industry.
Our story here at Tallgrass started in the hemp space about late 2018, and we applied for a research program through the Kansas Department of Agriculture. And at first we started studying hydroponics versus soil growing, and we did that for our first season. So our first harvest was about this time, early August, actually late last year, 2019. And we harvested about 40 plants then, and we've cloned 3 or 4 times since then. So what's inside the greenhouse today is actually cloned plants from last year, and then in addition a few more seed starts that were new plants this year. We are growing for CBD oil. There's most hemp grown in Kansas today is for CBD oil. We see a lot of future for farmers in the fiber market, but that's really just starting to develop throughout the country. A lot of Canada and a lot of Europe has been growing fiber hemp, so they're ahead of us on the actual manufacturing of plastic replacements, paper, canvas, biofuels made from hemp, and those are all areas of great opportunity. But because hemp has been prohibited in the United States for 60 some years, we are really behind on a lot of those. But about 90% of Kansas participants in the research program are growing for CBD oil, and almost all the processors licensed through that same program are also processing for CBD oil. Well, I feel like I've been an advocate for cannabis for a long time for personal use, and just kind of seeing the hypocrisy of the prohibition that has been going on. And of course, it's caused a lot of negative social justice issues, and just it always seems like an area where people should get involved and push back against rules that really did not make any sense and did not really serve any purpose. So I'm also an entrepreneur at heart. I do believe in providing service solutions that people value, and I feel like this is just another example of a new industry that people can get involved in that brings value to the state and to the economy and to the people who use the products. So hemp production right now, as I mentioned, in Kansas is heavily dominated by CBD plants. And I think that eventually, if you're an acreage farmer, you're probably going to transition to growing a fiber crop. But right now there's nowhere for you to process it, so that no one wants to grow it. But you can start from either seed or you can start from clones, which is an interesting process to make more plants out of the ones that you already have. And that's a pretty cool process to do. They grow really about the end of June is when you want to start them. They grow until late September, early October. That's when you harvest. They need to dry for a few days, which we'll just hang them upside down, keep the airflow going, and we'll dry them, and then we'll send them to a licensed processor, and they'll probably turn them into CBD oil. That's the main use for the plant right now. That's about it. Usually the season kind of wraps up and harvest in October. And last year we were growing inside, so we did keep the plants growing through the winter. That's not going to happen in a greenhouse environment, but if you have an indoor growing space, you can grow year round, and you can keep cloning and producing year round.
When we come back, I'll have more with Sarah at Tallgrass Hemp and Cannabis right here on Ag AM in Kansas.
SCHWARZ Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm, so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well on their planting systems and what they're doing. SCHWARZ Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is SureCropFertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@SureCropFertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, and we're glad to answer it and work with you.
Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Oakley, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on 3 main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people, just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun.
This segment brought to you by SureCrop. Liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
Welcome back to Ag Etc. I'm back with Sarah Stevens at Tallgrass Hemp and Cannabis over how COVID-19 has affected them.
Coronavirus hasn't been a major dampener on our progress for the year. I think it has definitely slowed down the state's ability to turn from the research to the commercial program, which has probably stalled some people out because they're just not really willing to make big investments when it's still so wishy-washy and you're not sure what the final rules are going to be. It's hard to invest in infrastructure in that scenario. I think we would have gotten further this year than we're going to, but I also think it's just such a time of transition that it could be great for people to stop and realize, hey, that's enough on the CBD oil. I also think that because of the budget crisis that Kansas is in, and most states are, due to coronavirus tax projections being, or I guess actuals being way lower than were projected, I think that they'll probably pass medical cannabis next session. And so then that's where I would like to transition to, and that's what greenhouse growing would move you towards, would be growing THC plants. And then maybe if you have hundreds of acres, you're probably going to switch to a fiber crop, and maybe the infrastructure will have developed around at that time. But I kind of thought that the legislature was maybe going to do something with medical cannabis last year, and then the session was cut short. So I think you don't know what would have happened, but I feel like maybe now, because of the budget crisis, it will happen. That's disappointing to me because it's really been the right thing to do all along, and it takes a major hole in the budget to make it a reality. But I guess, it's better than not getting done, despite what the reason might be. We're being surrounded now. Oklahoma, Missouri, obviously Colorado, Nebraska is on the verge of making change. The problem in Kansas is that we do not have a referendum option. So almost every state that has passed medical cannabis has been because the people were able to have a petition drive and get it on the ballot. So you can't do that in Kansas on cannabis or any other issue. You cannot get anything on a referendum. So I would like to see that changed for this issue, but also just for general democracy and the health of our state, because that gives people a voice and a way to make change directly instead of waiting on the legislature. And when they start getting involved, they're trying to figure out every detail, where if you put it on the ballot, it's yes or no. Do you want medical cannabis? Yes or no? Yes. And then we figure out the details. So we're trying to have the legislature figure out every line of the ID card, over here before they pass a law. It's probably not going to work like that. And it's really too bad that Kansas has been put this far behind. I mean, we're progressive people in Kansas. We've got to get ahead. Right. And we've got catching up to do on that issue.
For Ag AM in Kansas, I'm Britton Rucker.
No one plans to get sick or injured. But when life happens, it's important you and your family are protected. Kansas Farm Bureau health plans are there to provide continued health care coverage to meet your needs. Choose from a broad range of individual and family plans. And if you're over 65, we have options for you too. Learn more at kfbhealthplans.com or contact a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you.
Highways 40, 83, and I-70 come together right here in Oakley. Roads that lead to businesses, to magnificent rock formations, to scenic vistas, to places where legends were made. Roads that lead us home. Discover Oakley, the gateway to Western Kansas.
This segment brought to you by Farm Credit Associations of Kansas, lending support to rural America, and by American Ag Service, your DuPont Pioneer dealer.
Welcome back to Ag AM in Kansas. I'm Britton Rucker. We're with this week's Young Leader in Ag, James DeRushi. Welcome, James.
Thank you very much for having me on.
James, go into a bit of your ag background.
My family has been involved in the swine industry, dating back to my great-grandfather who raised purebred Hampshire pigs, my grandfather who raised the largest Chester white herd in the U.S. in the 1980s. My dad is currently a swine nutritionist for Kansas State University. My mom also comes from a diversified family farm here in Pottawatomie County, as well as both of my parents showed livestock in 4-H.
James, and what are you kind of involved in right now?
I'm currently the president of my 4-H club, an officer for my FFA chapter, as well as a Northeast Kansas district officer. I'm currently serving on the junior board of the Eastern Kansas Swine Show Series. This past year, we had over 30 pigs in our show pig program. And athletically, I play football, basketball, and baseball.
Awesome. And James, final question, but where do you kind of see yourself headed in the future? Is it potentially ag-related?
Yes, I do plan to do something ag-related. I plan to attend KSU for an animal science degree, and I'd like to do something in the swine industry. I also have an interest in economics and the investing side of things as well. And eventually, I'd love to be a part of a competitive show pig operation.
Awesome. Well, James, thank you so much for hopping on our program and talking with me.
Yes, thank you very much.
I'm Britton Rucker, and this has been Ag AM in Kansas.
At Farm Credit, we partner with America's farmers who work hard each and every day to grow the food that we all enjoy. It's not an easy task, but it's an important one. Farm Credit is proud to work with farmers and ranchers, lending support in rural America.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff, like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
My name is Casey Barton. I'm the veterinarian and manager of this facility, Bluestem Embryo Transfer Center. We're a full-service embryo transfer facility located south of Abilene, Kansas.
I'm Kerryann Koche, and I'm the CEO of Vytelle.
We are a full-service embryo transfer facility. We house donors, recips, do traditional embryo transfer. Obviously, we do a lot of IVF. We have a wean calf program as well, so we really are kind of all-encompassing as far as the cattle cycle, reproductive cycle goes. We're involved in and actively involved in all the different aspects of embryo transfer and maximizing genetic potential and progress. A big thing I've seen here at Bluestem Embryo Transfer Center, we've been at this for 6 years, over 6 years now with IVF, 3 years with Vytelle, 6 years working with IVF. When we started out with IVF, it was the absolute last resort. It was cows that wouldn't give us a heat, cows that you know we could not make work traditionally. And over time, what I've seen is IVF being the option of last resort to the option of first resort. There are just so many different ways to harness the power of IVF, and so very much it's becoming, production has gotten better, preg rates have gotten better. Some of the past issues that have happened with fetal calf size with IVF, there is no bovine fetal calf serum. There's no bovine fetal calf serum in the Vytelle media, so a lot of those issues have been addressed. So if you've maybe tried IVF in the past, maybe it didn't go well for you, maybe that's been 5, 8, 10 years ago, you had a bad experience, and you've sworn you're never going to do it again, whatever the past issue was, I would invite you to at least come back and look at it.
So Vytelle is a combination of two existing companies, Vytelle IVF and GrowSafe Systems, and we recently merged those two companies together really to take individual animal performance and transfer that into genetic progress as fast as possible, or faster than ever before. And so looking at the GrowSafe system, which historically is, it measures individual animal feed intake and really focusing on identifying specific phenotypes that we want to reproduce. And then our IVF business, which is the fastest way to reproduce those animals. And so we're really about making genetic progress faster than ever before.
With IVF and the Vytelle method is such a powerful tool to propagate and maximize genetic progress. You're able to utilize the the Vytelle system, the IVF system that they have. It's easy to manage, it's producer friendly, cow friendly, and really gives you a lot of different tools and a lot of different ways to move forward with your genetics. You know, there's lots of different ways to identify the donors, the cows that people want to make into donors. So really, you know, from the producer side, you know, you can take a lot of different information. One of those things is GrowSafe, that system, but you know, there's lots of different ways. Phenotype, I mean, we can't forget about how the cattle look, how they walk, how their milking ability is, disposition. We've got to take all that into account. And so then, you know, once those producers make that decision, then my job is to figure out, okay, what is the best game plan, what is the best strategy to maximize not only the number of embryos we're getting, but then all the way through to transferring those embryos preg rate, and then ultimately weaning those calves and raising a good, mature, healthy calf.
You know, producers make two really high-stake decisions. One is on mating selection, and the other is reproduction method. And those decisions that they make are long-term decisions, and they're high-stake. And so if we can get more accurate and better at making that mating selection by identifying elite animals through our GrowSafe technology and understanding specifically those individual animal phenotypes, that only makes the reproduction method decision much more confident because we know we're reproducing the right animals using Vytelle IVF. So how do we incorporate feed-efficient genetics? I think one way to consider doing that is looking for feed-efficient genetics as you're making your breeding decisions. One way to do that is we actually published the top 150 feed-efficient bulls through our GrowSafe network, and so you can go to growsafe.com and you can look at those top 150 bulls that have been tested for an accurate feed efficiency measurement, and that's one way that you can make a selection for feed efficiency and put it right into your herd. Another way is testing your animals at a local test station using GrowSafe systems, or putting a GrowSafe system in your own place.
When we return, learn how you can incorporate IVF into your operation here on Ag AM in Kansas.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
These days, no one can afford to take the risk of being without financial protection against high health care costs, not even for a few days. Kansas Farm Bureau health plans offer short-term health care coverage to fill in those temporary gaps. Short-term health plans can provide you with medical coverage when you are between health plans, helping lower your potential financial risk. Learn more at kfbhealthplans.com or contact a Farm Bureau financial services agent near you.
I'm Bob SCHWARZ, and I've devoted the last 43 years to helping Kansans reach their retirement goals and to protect the family farm. At Bob SCHWARZ Financial, we believe everyone should be able to live the retirement they've always dreamed of. Our team of professionals can help you create an efficient strategy using a variety of investment vehicles to help you address your financial needs and your concerns. Bob SCHWARZ Financial values commitment and transparency.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source, together we grow.
This segment brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook. Let us help feed your family.
Welcome back to Ag Etc. I'm back with Casey Barton, owner of Bluestem Embryo Transfer Facility and CEO of Vytelle, Kerryann Koche, about how you can incorporate IVF onto your own cattle operation.
There's lots of ways that IVF can be added. So really, if you're doing any embryo transfer at all, traditional, if you're looking at doing embryo transfer, trying to figure out, are we going to go traditional method and IVF method, I can pretty much guarantee you that somewhere in there IVF can very successfully be incorporated. You have the ability to use IVF in short postpartum cows, pregnant cows, virgin heifers. You have the ability to do IVF in between rounds of traditional. So if you're a traditional embryo transfer based program based system, you can very easily do IVF in between those rounds of traditional.
From a Vytelle system perspective, I mean, we're a modern IVF. We don't use FSH, so that's one key differentiator for us, and it allows us, just like Dr. Barton was saying, we can show up anywhere, anytime, and we can make embryos, and that's one of the things that's really unique about the Vytelle system. We can make embryos in calves as young as 7 months old to 100 days pregnant, and so it's really a flexible tool to add to your genetic program.
In the data that we've had and the work that we've done, we've been at this for years, and Bruno Sanchez has been at this for years and years, and so we really don't see any difference in stimulated versus unstimulated. I mean, our unstimulated, whether you're looking at preg rates, whether you're looking at embryo production, don't see a difference. So really, with the technicians, the OPU technicians that Vytelle has, Pedro, whoever you're talking about with the Vytelle system, you have extremely experienced, extremely high level capability OPU technicians that are able to very proficiently, very safely work through donors and without the need of FSH. So there's not multiple rounds in the timing and the days of these setup shots. It just don't need it. I mean, it is so powerful and so much easier for us to manage, for clients to manage. It has really opened the door to a lot of clients, a lot of producers that have wanted to do embryo transfer, wanted to propagate their genetics on the donor side, but just have not, they couldn't manage it before. We have clients where it's a husband and wife, and they don't have the extra help. Maybe they have a job off the farm, but they've got a really good herd of cattle too, and so they're not able to manage the shots and the AIs and some of those things with traditional embryo transfer. But by golly, they can take a day off work or a morning off of work, and they can go get their cows off the pasture or off the farm or have them penned the night before, set up a time with us, trailer them in, we'll have you in and out of this facility in about an hour. So get them right back to where they were, they're back to work, back to the kids, whatever. It is a production-based business model, so that means if we don't make anything, you don't pay anything. Can't be any more upfront, any more fair than that. If we don't make anything, you will not get a bill from Bluestem Embryo Transfer Center. So that's huge, and I've had a lot of clients kind of appreciate the fact that Vytelle, Bluestem Embryo Transfer Center, myself, we've got a lot invested in this too. Like, we want to be successful, because if we don't make anything, nobody's making any money. So we're doing the best job we can and trying to be as fair and as straightforward as we possibly can be with this process. Bluestem Embryo Transfer Center, obviously we're based out of Kansas. We're south of Abilene, so we're basically in east central Kansas, but then we really work with clients in all the surrounding states.
And for Vytelle, I mean, we're in 9 countries around the world. We have some locations here. We have our Salina, Kansas lab, our Ames, Iowa lab. We have labs in Texas and California, Hermiston, Oregon, and then we have partner labs all over the world. So we're willing to travel too. So to find you. So we'll be willing to meet those needs.
So just to start, we're not here just to make those embryos and say thank you very much and be gone. We are very much here for your success, and really the success of an embryo transfer program, it's not gauged, it should not be gauged on embryo production. It should not be gauged on how many cows you get pregnant. Really the core of it is how many calves do you wean off? How many healthy calves do you wean off that go back into your herd, that go to your production sale? So with the clients that I work with, I am very much here to help, to offer guidance, recommendations. I work with a lot of veterinarians. I work with lots of veterinarians. I've got lots of different clients with different veterinarians. I'm more than happy to talk to people, help them, talk with their veterinarians. I want people to have a good experience. There's things that from experience, from things that we've done over the last 15 years of being back here on my farm as a veterinarian, raising embryo transfer calves. There's things that I've found throughout the journey, and I'm more than glad to help. So definitely we're here every step of the way. Again, you need to have a veterinarian involved, you need to have a nutritionist involved, but then our job here at Bluestem Embryo is to help complement those things and give suggestions and guidance and recommendation where we can.
Thanks for watching Ag Etc. As always, I'm Britton Rucker, and I'll see you here next week here on Ag AM in Kansas.